It's not just how you move out in the environment, it's not just how you move your limbs. Every aspect of how your body's functions related to movement.
Movement system is the foundation of our profession and the identity of physical therapists as movement system experts. We've been thinking about the movement system here within the program for decades.
We've got investigations going from all levels of the movement right here in the physical therapy program at Washington University. And I think we're going to have a real impact out in the big world.
Because it's all about helping people change their movement. Either move more comfortably, move at all, move more efficiently, move in different circumstances.
We can make tremendous advances in their health and their ability to lead active and meaningful lifestyles.
60 years later, I'm more excited than the day I walked into this program because I know what we can do.
As a program, I know it would be impossible to last 75 years without doing an excellent job.
Physical therapy is not quite 100 years old in terms of its lifespan. It originated in the early 1920s because there was a need for healthcare workers for the men that were coming back from war.
So there's been several public health issues that have been catalysts for physical therapy. Beatrice Schultz was an occupational therapist who became a physical therapist, and right away, when she finished her physical therapy degree, she became the director of the physical therapy program at Washington University. Now, before that, it was the Barnes Hospital School of Physical Therapy, so it was a technical training program that came out of the history of physical therapy being needed for war victims.
The program was quite small at the time. As I mentioned, there were only like 15 people in our class, and that was a reasonable sized class for that time. And I think that was probably true of most PT programs across the country.
But Beatrice Schultz was director from 1942 to 1977.
When Beatrice retired, they had a number of years while they were looking for a director, and someone on staff, Isabel Bowman by name, who was acting director for a number of years while they went on a big search. That's when they found Steve Rose, who was really well qualified for this job.
He soon took over the clinic, Irene Walter Johnson Institute of Rehabilitation, and there were about 50 physical therapists practicing there at the time. And so Steve took on an ever-increasing role both in the program and the clinic. He was just a tremendous force, not only in our program, but also within the university and the entire profession of physical therapy.
He saw an excellent opportunity because of the university's interest in research as well as education and practice to combine all those things. We were operating just as a little school at the time. We had like 35 students at most, not really doing any research.
So this was the first time that a research initiative had existed in the program. And there were so few people who had PhDs. So having a PhD trained person come and run the program was a big shock to the community.
Physical therapy was moving in the direction of a profession with a science behind it. And that's what Steve did so well.
He was a tremendous advocate for developing and growing our program, and unfortunately he left and passed soon after I graduated. But he was a tremendous force, not just for our program, but for the profession of physical therapy as a whole.
But we were fortunate in that Dr. Dusinger, Susan Dusinger, kind of stepped up and filled that role. She served as an interim program director for a period of time, and then after a national search, was selected as the next director of the program in physical therapy.
She was our director for many, many years and was also extremely instrumental in enabling the program to attain and maintain a top-ranked or nearly top-ranked status.
One of the things that Susie did that was so great was to make sure that faculty had the opportunity to practice. So we had a whole contingent of people that are teaching clinical courses and they actually practice, which was not the case before.
Each of the directors that we've had have stood upon the shoulders of the previous one. They've built upon what the other person has done. And Susie did a fantastic job of really building this faculty into an academic faculty that was deep and broad in terms of physical therapy expertise in clinical practice, research, and education.
When Susie decided to retire, she gave notice to the university so that we could start a national search. Gammon was on faculty here when the position became open.
So when she indicated that she wanted to find another challenge, I said, well, boy, I couldn't be more excited that you want that challenge to be director of this program, because to my mind, there was no one more qualified. I think adopting this whole movement system thing and giving it a centerpiece has also been to her credit, because it again helps to define what the program's about and why Washington University is so special and has been #1 for so long.
The profession has gone from baccalaureate or certificate training to master's training, and we made that transition in the 70s to 80s, and then they made the dictate to move to the Doctor of Physical Therapy by the year 2020, and we achieved that goal well before 2020. And I think that having the director that we had, especially starting with Steve Rose, moving us ahead of the pace was really key on putting us in a prime position as now #1.
Having that kind of consistency has allowed a carryover of excellence, and I think all the faculty have been really committed to the idea of evidence-based practice and to keep this tradition of excellence in physical therapy.
With their research and their clinical practice, they're always just pushing to get better, and it's very motivating because they don't just kind of sit around and wait for things to happen. They make things happen.
Many of our faculty who teach in our core courses are still actively engaged in clinical practice, and I think that's a tremendous asset to know that the individuals who are teaching them actively engaged in patient care and keeping their clinical skills current and still having to function in the ever-changing healthcare system that they will soon be practicing in.
It bodes really well for the profession as a whole to have a program this strong, training people that are going out into the world for clinic work and research and everything.
Everything that we do is based off this movement system model of treatment, and it dives very deep into not necessarily what people do, but how they do it. So it's the why and the how.
WashU physical therapy program being 75 years old, I think that's something really special. To be here, to be a part of it, the great reputation that it already has, and work toward contributing to that with the work that I do during my PhD studies.
And that although there is this rich heritage and we've been around for 75 years, that we literally cannot continue without excellent students, and that they really are at the heart of what we do and have so much to contribute, not only to the program in the short term, but also to the profession and the world as a whole over the long term, that they are the future leaders and we need them.
I can't only wait to get up every day and get back on behind the computer or out on the airplane or come in here and talk to my colleagues about the latest research. It's just too wonderful. I've never been so excited about what a transition has taken place in a profession, and yet what transition is still out there. I see it when we're sitting on the edge. I can't help but be excited about it.